This is the preparation video that you don't want to watch, I don't want to make, but unfortunately I need. So here we go. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Garmin. This is the Storycraft Society, and one thing that I've kind of prided myself about on this channel is transparency. It's one of the things where I want you to know, A, that you can do it too, obviously, but B, there are certain trials and tribulations that go into making builds that just utterly and honestly, a lot of the YouTubers out there don't go into because they probably say that it's boring. And honestly, it might be boring because again, this video might be something that you watch and you're like, dang, I wasted my time on that. Why did I watch it? But this is a situation where I need to be transparent and tell you what is going on in the build process. I bought this hand from my local Ross. It was on clearance for $3.99, which is an absolute steal. And what's even cooler about this hand is that it is in the exact shape of the holy symbol of my God of Arcane Magic in Tresina called Arcanoth. Actually, that's a little bit of a lie because his is the left hand with the finger up, but this is a right hand. It's really dang close. The plan that I had almost immediately when I did that was that I was gonna make this big kind of altar up on top of a hill. What am I gonna use it for? I have no idea yet, but I know I'll use it for something. I got really excited and I started into the build. What I did was I just cut out a bunch of stacks of XPS foam. I cut them into weird jagged shapes, stacked them up, made walkways that eventually wind up to the top. And that left me with this, obviously once I hot glued it together. The problem is now, is the thing that I always kind of forget when I get into builds like this, that I get excited, I start crafting, but then I get just crazy indecision paralysis of like, what direction can I go? What should I be doing? How can I make this the appropriate amount of cool without making it so specific that it's only usable like one time on my table? I think that this piece is going to lean towards the one-time use category, but that doesn't mean that it won't get use in multiple games or something like that. It's just that obviously the big giant god hand is going to be kind of specific, but what I needed just about more than anything for this build is I needed to give myself a sense of direction. Maybe even think of it like a checklist where I'm going, okay, I need to do this, then I need to do this, then I need to do this. Now, an obvious no-brainer of something that needs to be done on this basically right away is I need to run over the whole thing with a tinfoil ball. That's gonna get all of the kind of rock areas and rock textures figured out. One thing that I did kind of want to challenge myself with on this build is to do all of the sculpting work in foam. It's been a little while since I've done a build where I've done like even the rocks and stuff in foam. A lot of times I'll use Woodland Scenics rock molds and plaster. Then you have to do all of the blending work and that sort of thing. Another example that I've used recently is I did a video on using bark, and that was really useful. But again, it requires blending. If you've been watching the past couple of videos, this month has been horrendously busy for me at work. I wanted to do something that would be quick and straightforward and would look good enough. And that's how I've landed, like I said, here. But the tinfoil ball is definitely next. My forearms got their work out for the day by using all three of these different tinfoil tools to make sure that I get this thing all textured up. Here is your reminder that I should have given myself before I did all this. Make sure that you texture your foam before you glue it all together. You will have a happier, easier time. I did not do that, so then I had to get crafty. I did realize something, and again, that's what all of these planning build sessions becomes. That wasn't English. When I got out my PVA glue and dirt, I realized that I actually can't do that yet because these are going to end up anchoring the hand down onto the top of this thing. So before I do those, I have to glue the hand down. And before I glue the hand down, I realized that if this is supposed to be a religious site, it would be really nice if there was an altar up on top. So now I need to build an altar, and I think the way that I decided to do it is pretty straightforward and simple. It's just going to require me to sit down with a little bit of glue and some tools. So let's go to that next. So altar materials list. I have these little pieces of block here. Those are going to make my end caps, I think, one in each corner. I have a bunch of these blocks. They're going to actually make up the base of my altar. They're going to go across like that. The next thing that I have is a piece of foam core from the dollar store. That's going to go on the top first. Then I have a piece of medium weight chipboard. That's going to go on top of the altar like that. I have these little decorative pieces. I have no idea what they're for, when I bought them, or where, but they look kind of arcane symbol-y. So I figured they could go on top of here, kind of like that. I have a curved piece of foam core that I cut out. That's going to go back there to kind of make the back of the altar. Then the very last thing that I have is I have this bag of gold beads. I think one of those is going to go in each of the four corners and then on either side of that piece, but I'm not positive. Let me get that assembled and I'll show you what I came up with. Building the altar was easy with all of the pieces cut out. I started by laying out the foundation, which was just 2 layers of little blocks with the little column pieces in the corner. And then to build the top deck of the altar, I just laid out all of the ingredients in a way that looked nice. I put it all together with PVA glue, which is not the way that I typically work, but sometimes it's nice to change it up. And there was no real reason that I did that. And honestly, there was no real reason that I did it other than just for the change up. With that done, that leads me to the next really big step in this process, which is going to be to get all of the dirt texture and sand and stuff on top of this. I think that's where I'm going to wrap this week's video. Obviously, there is no climactic ending to this particular one, but like I said, this project is going to take me a little while and I want to do it right, so I don't want to just rush it and jam it all into one video. So stay tuned for next week and you will get to see the next step, and eventually we'll get this thing all finished up. If you enjoyed this video, definitely leave me a comment down below. Let me know something that you think that I should add to it, because if there's a good idea, maybe I'll take it and I will add on to this from where it is right now. Do all of the YouTube stuff, like subscribe to the channel, share this video with a friend that you think would enjoy it. That costs you absolutely nothing and it's a way to help the channel grow. I can't say how much I appreciate all of you that have done that already. Smash a button down there or something. I don't know what YouTubers say. That is going to be it for this week's video. So until next week, I'll be seeing you and we'll get back to work on this thing.